Margot Robbie reacts to Harley Quinn's fate in the Snyder Cut. That's right. Somebody asked her if she had seen the Snyder Cut, and I think we all kind of wondered what exactly, what is her reaction when it comes to her. Obviously we know that she's dead. We know that Batman says so. I mean, it's such a good scene, But here's her answer right here. So we got right here. She reacts to it. So when told, well, she hadn't seen it yet, sadly. It's like, come on, Margot, support. But she hadn't seen it yet. But it says, when told the news by an EW interviewer, Robbie expressed genuine shock, saying, "What? I didn't know that. Thank you for telling me." Robbie then went on her thoughts about Snyder's way of killing off Quinn, expressing no hard feelings and showing that she's a good trooper when it comes to the nature of the DC movie universe, which is becoming as stuffed with alternate realities as the comics. She said, "Each movie is its own sort of thing. I think that works in the comic book world, and I think that works in the DC film world as well. It's not like Marvel, where everything is more obviously linked in a more linear way. It feels like there's so many adjacent stories, worlds, and films happening at the same time, just like there are in the comics. So yeah, I don't know that, but it doesn't necessarily change what other people are able to do with the universe, I don't think. What one director decides, I don't think dictates what another director might be able to pick up and do with the world and the characters, which is fun. Fun. She has a point. But, going back to what Paul, heavy spoiler, said, it's like, okay, so why, Anne, with a plan, why are you guys totally just going fuck off with the Snyderverse, That's what it's like, hey, we just can't have a little bit of both, huh? We can't have this interpretation, that I don't know. But no, it is well said. I mean, I was always one of those people that was kind of like, okay, nothing has to be perfectly connected. That's what Marvel's doing. Perfectly fine. It's worked. It's nice and linear. It's like, I mean, it's essentially like, even before Loki came out, I was like, yeah, it's the timeline. It's a fucking branch, and you got these little leaves like bouncing off of it. And then of course, that was kind of represented in Loki when you see like the flow of time and you see like the variance and shit like that. I mean, that's what it is. And then I was kind of going like, okay, if DC is going to do their multiverse thing, it's like, okay, yeah, you got Snyder, he kind of planted the tree, and then you guys just do the rest, have branches and this, that, and this. But I know a lot of people are like all about like connective tissue. And I'm just kind of going like, well, I mean, obviously, when it comes to the movies, I mean, there's comic books like crazy. I mean, every character has like, 3 or 4 books, and then the bigger characters have like fucking 8 books. You go to a new comic book day, and all of a sudden it's like, you have to buy what? Detective comics and Batman and, fucking action comics and whatever the hell. And so, I mean, she does have a point, and I was always like kind of like on that side of it of like, yeah, I mean, you walk into a comic book store, you have all these different characters and all these different stories. And to restrain them, because I always hated that about the MCU, is like they're always setting up the next thing. Like when it came to Black Widow, it's like, for me, I walked out going, hey, Florence Pugh is going to be, they set her up. I'm excited for that. That was the only thing. I didn't walk away going, oh man, that was something unique and excellent. I was just like more excited that Florence Pugh is going to be taking over being Black Widow. But, I'm so toxic. I know, Jose. So toxic. The fandom overreacts to comments made by a DC actor. I know. A lot of people, yeah. A lot of people are not too happy about that. But it's like, what can you do? It just seems like what they're trying to do is just kind of like, hey, they're trying to give freedom to the directors to tell their stories. Cool. Now, is there going to be some connective tissue? Yes. And from what I gathered, when it comes to the Suicide Squad, there's still going to be some connective tissue to, I don't know how much the Birds of Prey, but there definitely will be to the first Suicide Squad. Obviously you're using the same characters. Yes. It's just it's going to be in a different light, which is perfectly fine. That is true. If you're going to think about how the comics medium is, yeah, totally makes sense. But I don't know. It's just, but at the same time, I've talked to people who bring up a good point of, one of the things that made the MCU so successful is the fact that, yeah, even though they're setting up that next movie, that just makes people excited for it. And I get that. I totally get that. But at the same time, I don't know. It's all pretty crazy. But but at the same time, when it comes to Harley Quinn's fate in Zack Snyder's Justice League, that's way in the future. Okay. That's supposed to be in the future. I mean, when we have that exchange between Joker and Batman, I mean, we're like 5 years into the future. We're in a post-apocalyptic future. So, so I don't think maybe she didn't understand that the fact that it was in the future or something like that. I don't know. She needs to actually watch the full-on film, or at least watch that scene. Because you could tell that, she hadn't watched it yet. She just like heard about it, and she got the little details from the interviewer. Who knows if the interviewer actually explained it correctly? Like, oh, this is in the future. Darkseid has invaded. Superman's evil. Lois is dead. A lot of people are dead, and this, that, and this. So hopefully she did watch that scene at least after she heard about that, because that'd be pretty cool. But I really think that it could work because, yeah, like I said, timelines and stuff like that. An alternate future, yeah, like you said, Alak, yeah, alternate future. And at the point is for Batfleck to prevent the future. Yes, exactly. So it's not a future that's going to be lived. Harley Quinn could still survive. But at the same time, I want to see that scene. If I was the interviewer, I would have asked her, hey, if Zack Snyder hits you up to shoot that scene where Harley Quinn died, would you have done it? And I think we heard that maybe that they reached out, like they thought about maybe doing something like that. I think Zack talked about that briefly, right? Or something. I don't know. But I kind of wonder if she was like, if she didn't have scheduling conflicts or whatnot, would she be down for it? Hopefully, because that would have been a cool scene.